I'm scared. Guess we're watching this video. This video is called Rachel Zegler Went on an Insane Anti-Trump Rant. And I was like, who the hell is Rachel Zegler? And why the hell does this have 1 million views on Matt Walsh's channel? That's the actress. And the reason her name is in the title and the reason he's talking about this is that is the actress that has been billed to play Snow White in the upcoming Disney remake live action thing. And so they've got to do their culture war on Disney. They've got to make that content. Or, I mean, what was the point of it all? What was the point of the election? It's Rachel Zegler went on an insane anti-Trump rant. And wouldn't you know, I also saw other channels. Megyn Kelly, actress Rachel Zegler's insane post taking aim at every Trump voter. They keep talking about it. Rachel Zegler is dumb, anti-Trump actress, like nerd-erotic. They coordinate their attacks like this out of a combination of literally being in cahoots and, well, that's how their bread is buttered at this point. So they're like, oh, any Disney thing that we can say? Let's do it. So here we are. Rachel Zegler, Matt Walsh. 2 enter, 1 leaves.
Every time
in the battle for ideas,
we check in on Disney's upcoming Snow White remake, somehow things get even worse than they were before. This is a production that went off the rails a long time ago, which is...
Who gives a fuck? You're a grown man. Who cares? Why? Why do you... I know why you care. Because it makes you money. They click on the video. Obviously, 1 million views on this fucking thing. All the anti-woke boys, they knew who Rachel Zegler was. No one who's excited for the Snow White movie even knows any of the actors' names in them. They don't care. They're just like, oh, Snow White. And they clap. And they're going to go do it because they're children. They don't give a fuck.
Quite an achievement, if you think about it. With all the money and technology we have in 2024, somehow Disney is struggling very hard to match the quality of a film from the 1930s. At first, there were the leaked images of the actors playing the 7 dwarves, which weren't dwarves at all because that would be culturally insensitive. So instead, Disney replaced the dwarves with a diverse array of magical hobos.
Oh, what?
Then whenever
are we gonna see any of the stuff you're talking about? Did we see this? I don't know anything about this or care. I'm sorry. I've been too busy just being normal, I guess. Being a normal guy. Who cares about the fucking... I want to get to what she said about the anti-Trump shit. I don't care about the movie. Get to the anti-Trump shit.
Everyone pointed out that the dwarves are kind of important to the story. Disney delayed the production, fired all the actors playing the magical hobos, replaced them with CGI dwarves, which didn't look particularly convincing, but at least they were better than the actors.
Uh-huh.
So some progress was made, I suppose. Goodwill.
They were better than the... Okay. I think Matt needs to go touch some of the grass outside of his window. I think Disney needs to stop listening to what Matt Walsh says and just make art. Like, literally every time they listen to this kind of stuff, they validate it instead of just, like, making whatever art is going to do the... gonna be made by the artists making it. And Disney's fallen off because they've lost the vision. And the vision was to make art. The money comes with good art. But instead, they're just worried about money. And because of that, it cheapens everything. And it's all bad. All of it's bad now. Chasing money in late-stage capitalism is stupid. It's over. It's over for us as a culture if this is where it's going to go. The white culture, this big white culture, all it is just a fucking facade. The real culture is everybody else, man. The real culture is everybody who doesn't give a fuck about this shit. Because this is just corptocracy. And it's you. It's your fault. You know? You know, Matt? You're part of it. You're part of the reason Disney operates the way it does and why they make shit. You're the reason. Along with, all the other right-wingers that you vote for and move alongside politically. It's just like, they're like, why does society suck? And everyone's like, you. You. And they're like, well, what if we really try to force everybody to be like us? And it's just not going to work. It's just not going to happen.
Bill was restored to a degree. Then the star of the film, Rachel Zegler, proceeded to light all that goodwill on fire. She made it clear that she thinks the story of Snow White is actually very creepy and misogynistic. She said Disney was basically going to throw out the old story, get rid of the prince, make a film that supposedly empowers women, and that means downplaying the whole romance thing, which was the whole point of the story.
The whole point of the story of Snow White was romance? Is that true?
hiring the Barbie screenwriter and going full-on girl boss was the plan. Then a short clip of the film surfaced online, and we saw exactly what a girl boss Snow White looks like. The clip showed Snow White directing the dwarves to clean their own cottage.
Killed by the woke mind virus.
Killed by the woke mind. Already. Matt Walsh. Everyone hates Matt Walsh.
For her as she instructs them to whistle while they work. Yes, the dwarves come home from a long day at the mines, and they're met by a bossy, unpleasant woman telling them to clean up.
Damn. Not cleaning, no! I would like to see Matt Walsh work in a mine once. I don't think he ever has done such a thing. Let's see him take those soft little hands into a mine. It's just not gonna work. I love the Daily Wire because it's all a facade of manhood and none of it's real. They're like, put a banjo in the back, he's got a beard. That makes him a man. Put him in a flannel. He can't hold a fishing rod. You've seen him. He can't even walk outside. He's in fucking LA every day. What? Or wherever the Daily Wire films. They're not real guys. They moved to Texas, by the way.
Even help them in this version, which is a pretty big change from the original. She also doesn't seem remotely grateful that they're giving her a place to stay when she desperately needs it. Instead, she just sings along and watches the dwarves do all the work, almost sadistically, really. And once again, as you'd expect, this footage caused a backlash, and Disney quickly had it scrubbed from the internet. Then a couple of months ago, Disney uploaded this teaser for the film. This was their big moment to win back the fans.
What? Nobody was talking about this. The only coverage I've ever seen on this kind of Disney stuff, any of the Disney stuff, has been right-wingers fomenting it. The fans. No! These fucking people. Like nerds. Nerds on the internet that have way too much of a voice. Go. Matt, who hurt you? His dad. It's always the dads.
Here's just a quick part of it.
Finally, something that isn't Matt. I don't know if I can even listen to this. Disney will get me.
While you work.
These look bad. I don't like any of the live actions, though, or care about them. I don't give a shit. Uh-huh. Oh, it's a baby deer. It's a baby deer.
So the whole thing...
Her fit looks good, though. Like, it's definitely just like the animated one.
Has this kind of uncanny valley vibe to it, and pretty much all the comments are negative. Just going through some of them. These are the top comments. In order, by the way, I'm not cherry picking. This is just the top comments. Here's what they say. Quote, "This is actually hilarious. The first Snow White saved Disney. The second ruined it." Another says, "What's the point of doing a live-action remake of an animated movie if you're just going to animate half the characters anyway?"
Yeah. Everybody hates these. Except for children. Just children hate them. Or love them. Here's the thing, man. I don't think. I mean, I guess it's literally just a cynical money thing, and I gotta just make peace with it. This is just what Daily Wire and this is into. This is the kind of stuff that won the election, by the way. This is what we're up against. Schlock, and it's always kind of been that. Because like to really understand like stuff that helps humanity, you have to go.
Your son is dead.
Killed
by the
level
woke
deep,
mind virus.
and people can't do that. They can't. Like, their media literacy is fucking as dead as Elon's son being killed by the woke mind virus. I'm going to go on a limb here and say people hate the live-action remakes not because they are woke, because they are bad, cynical, cheap money grabs. 1,000,000%. Yeah, I don't care about them at all. We more slop on the left. So it's really hard to have slop on the left unless you're doing it kind of on accident, right? Because even his son... He gets into fucking theory. He's like literally, he's got a vocabulary. He's not a dumb guy. He just comes across, he's a himbo for sure. He's not a dumb guy though. Even the fucking like, I don't know, the most mainstream leftist Hassan is straight up not necessarily for the kids or what. I mean, neither is Matt Walsh, but you know what I'm talking about. Like they have that. This is schlock for normie brain. Normie's first internet guy. And they just hook them really quick because I don't know, they put themselves on like a news thing, but like cash internet news, and that's what they do. And so you kind of have to like, this is probably why like David Pakman fucking, there's something to be said about it. Like the format works. Humanist Report does something like this. It gives you an air of legitimacy. Someone's like, oh, look, a budget. And they're like, yeah. And just dumb divorced guys love someone like a Matt Walsh. But leftism is really hard to sell people if they're not even capable of thinking, because it's like, oh, leftism is for people who are thinking. And it's straight up just true. And it's not like, oh, we're just so smart. It's like, to come to the conclusion that people's needs need to be met for society to be good is like, kind of, it's a little bit deep. It's not that deep, but we don't have to sell people that. In my opinion, politically, we could sell people the schlock of leftism, but, I think you have to go base level from an education standpoint and just like societally from the bottom up, just really make sure that people understand that and follow through with the idea of a country and society that takes care of itself and its people and, is leading with empathy instead of like chasing money. And that's the only way you can do it, is to have like change the culture. And instead everyone gets fucked over by capitalism. And so all these guys have to do is say, here's the reason your life sucks, and give some, and it's always anger, right? You never see right-wing joy ever, unless it's in a Christian context, and then it's always like vapid, right? I can't think of genuine right-wing joy. What is that? Even when they win the election, they're fucking miserable, right? Have you seen any of them fucking cheering and being like, oh, I'm so happy because I feel like my kids are going to have a brighter future? And no. All of it is like, I want groceries to be cheaper, which I think we all agree, but it's not because they want everybody to have cheaper groceries, because I have expensive groceries, and it's hard to get people to think outside of themselves. So for real, like straight up, we just got to give people stuff like rent and healthcare and education, and they will fall in line. They'll be like, oh yeah, I like that. I like stuff. I like having stuff I need. So I mean, there's something to be said. Anyway, Matt Walsh sucks. See right-wing joy when they are gloating and see, but this isn't even it, right? Even when they're gloating, they're not actually having a good time. They're always like, yeah, fuck you, and they're straight up like angry still. They're just mad, and it's like, it's a very odd way to live your life. I don't know. The only time those people ever have like any joy is if they're offline, like right-wingers. Usually offline right-wingers, like normies that vote Republican, are just dumb and fucking fox pill brained.
Unquote, it's okay, Disney. You could just cancel the film. We won't be mad if you admit defeat. There are a few people who point out that the trailer has more than 1 million dislikes on YouTube and fewer than 100,000 likes. It's information that YouTube hides, but it's still accessible apparently. Comments go downhill from there. One reads, wow, Disney, you truly are incredible. It took you 3 years, multiple rewrites, unnecessary CGI.
He's just reading comments. Is this the rest of the video?
$209 million just for me to enjoy a comment section of a movie I will never watch. Bless you. And someone writes,
dude, maybe he'll do that thing where he does like a spoken ad halfway through or not even, and then the next half of the video isn't the title of the video, and they sneak in another section in to get a mid-roll ad in. Very classic Matt Walsh Daily Wire experience. Could be.
I'm rooting for the poison apple. So you get the idea. Everything about this film is an unmitigated disaster. Even their teaser trailers are bombing. After all this, if there are any adults left at Disney,
he's literally just like reading this and then he riffs for a second.
You'd think they'd be in damage control mode at this point. Maybe they can't control how bad this film is going to be. Maybe they can't improve the CGI on the dwarves anymore. Way too late for script rewrites. Costs a lot of money, and they're probably well over budget at this point.
He's reading right now for sure.
But at a minimum, you'd think that they could at least say, tell Rachel Zegler to stop talking like a deranged left-wing activist just for a little bit. Just until the movie comes out.
A deranged left-wing activist? I think she probably just doesn't like Donald Trump. I would love to see this part, but you're really fucking burying it. This is just straight up a 2-minute hate for Disney. It really is.
Might mitigate some of the potential future damage for this film, which is somehow already getting even worse press than Joker 2 and not even out yet. You know, we talk a lot about...
Oh, my fucking God. Here's the mid-roll. Fucking...
putting our...
Yeah, cool. All right. I guess we'll just go to the fucking wardrobe change.
But apparently telling Rachel Zegler to behave normally just isn't an option either. So the other day, in response to the presidential election, Zegler...
Go. Boo. Play your goddamn banjo or shut up, man. I don't think he's going to play the banjo. Can he play banjo? I've never seen it. Play banjo, Matt.
Had a very public meltdown on her Instagram stories. She wrote, quote...
A public meltdown. Anytime anyone has a disagreement or is like mad about a thing or feels strongly about it, it's a meltdown.
F you, Donald Trump.
Damn, melting down. Fuck Donald Trump is not a hard position to come by.
And she proceeded to insult the 75 million Americans who voted for him, quote,
Oh no, better fucking clutch my pearls on that one. Oh my God. I think every one of the 75 million people that voted for Donald Trump are nefarious or ill-informed people, and that sucks. Like, that's just straight up. Like, some of them are assholes, and that's probably like 30%. And then most of them are normies. They got phone banked and were just like, yeah, I'll vote for Donald Trump, sure. Because I want cheap gas or whatever. And they were like, oh, that'll happen for me.
I find myself speechless in the midst of this. Another 4 years of hatred, leading us towards a world I do not want to live in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always got to love starting with F you and then ending with, complaining about all the hatred in the world.
Took a while to get there. Complaining about the hatred. F you.
Of course, if Zegler doesn't want to live in America anymore, she's free to leave. She certainly has the resources to do that. But she seems to suggest that Donald Trump will make the entire world uninhabitable, which...
I mean, frankly, with your lack of climate policy, that's what we're kind of looking at, especially in the global south.
You know, it's kind of a new one. Actually, it's not entirely new. It reminds me of 2016 when Cher declared that she would have to leave the planet if Donald Trump won. And she never left, strangely enough, although she kind of looks like she did. And ironically, if she wants to leave the planet now, Elon Musk is probably her best bet, which raises its own complications, I guess. So these celebrities are really running out of options.
These celebrities, President Donald Trump and fucking Elon Musk mentioned, listen to yourself. These celebrities. He was on Apprentice, and then you voted for him. That's literally what happened. Donald Trump. Shut up. This is Reagan. Hello? Literally a fucking actor. Dr. Gamble, give one to your house.
I hope you have a fantastic day.
But Zegler wasn't done there. Her post added that Trump is, quote, leading us towards a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in.
Yes.
Leading us towards a world that will force her to have a baby she doesn't want.
Yep.
Leading us towards a world that is fearful.
Yes.
She stated that, quote, the left continues to fail us in forging a new path forwards.
1,000,000%.
This loss should not have been, and it's
Like the Democrats.
certainly should not have been by so many votes.
Dr. Gamble, give one to Forest Fire.
May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm into that. Specifically on the idea that you can just like think that you get to vote for this guy, and then when shit goes bad, we're not going to tell you about it. And frankly, I would love if leopards ate some faces of people like Matt Walsh. Most of the people don't deserve it because they're idiots. You know, like they're just dumb buffoons that have been fed propaganda for their whole lives and are voting Republican and are otherwise just like victims of a system, pretty much. I don't really feel bad for them. I don't really feel like I'm going to revel in leopards eating all of their faces when it happens, and it's going to. But someone like Matt Walsh, that would be lovely. Like the pundits, the ones that put this kind of shit into motion and that propagate it. Yeah, I mean, it's a bleak situation to look at the just the way these people want to live society, and it's like, man, nobody wants to live in your Christo-fascist fucking shithole. Everybody should just have what they need. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to dip our toe in fascism before we get out of it. We couldn't just avoid it. We've already been fascist, and, it's not to say that, like, the liberals aren't selectively fascist anyway, but they're domestically a little less fascist. That's going up now.
Now, what's amusing about this, of course, is that
nobody. Give one to Bohemian Lucy. Thank you.
it's pretty clear that Zegler is the one who doesn't know peace. She's obviously an emotionally unstable basket case who has no idea how to process the fact that none of her paranoia is based in reality.
None of her paranoia is based in reality. Okay. So anyway, the next 4 years are going to be wild and wacky, just like the fucking 4 years prior. I mean, Joe Biden, say what you will, and I don't like Genocide Joe. I'm not a fan. There was more, the stability was slowly getting better under the liberal agenda, and I agree that the reason they lose is because that they do half measures and they don't actually help anybody to a full extent, right? And it feels bad. But it's always been like slowing the decline, at least in my lifetime, slowing the decline and trying to get something good going is voting for a liberal. And genuinely, it feels like if we can move in the right direction, we will get the populist left wing that we need to get things done. But the old guard liberals, the boomers, I mean, they just fucking fail us. We need to make sure this can't happen again. When the dust settles on whatever the fuck this country is turning into, when the dust fucking settles, we need to make sure that we can't let geriatric fucks be in charge of decision making. It's straight up just that. 60 years old, you're out. You cannot be in politics. You do not have a future, okay? You do not get to be in politics anymore. Everyone already fucking has dealt with this. Beyond 60, it's just crazy. And the turnover rate, like you shouldn't be able to be in Congress for fucking 20, 30 years. Nancy Pelosi should never happen. This isn't just a Democrat or Republican thing for me, although obviously Republicans are the problem right now. I mean, the Democrats are also the problem, to be honest. But, like, we can't be having this. I'm fine if there's some dumbasses at the table every once in a while, because the dumbasses in this country need representation too. But that they're mostly dumbasses because of a grift, and it's just like it's so artificial. It's so cynical. If these people had genuine political conviction in a way that wasn't like Donald Trump doesn't have the Heritage Foundation's opinions, they're just a springboard for him to get power. You know what I mean? But because of that, the Heritage Foundation has access to power and legislation. And no one wants to live in that fucking society, but they vote for it by proxy because they're too stupid to realize it. Like, they're not online. They're not connected. And you can't just tell people that. Like, it's hard because these people are fed schlock their whole lives and they have immediate satisfaction on everything, right? So they think voting for Trump is going to immediately switch the thing. But it's not. It's just going to get worse. And here's the thing. This type of reactionary sort of like politic culture is going to spring back at these people because they're not going to be able to deliver high quality of life because their policies are bad. So they deliver shit and then they get voted out. So fucking stupid, dude. And then it's just about picking up the pieces after they fucking wreak havoc. So I think we're in a good position if we can get a real leftist coalition in politics after this presidency. I think we can very much make real good positive change, and they'll have broken down enough of the bureaucracy to where I think we can fill in the gaps with really good policy and structure. That's my hope. That's my silver lining. Is the destabilization leaves us leftists an opening because we know liberalism is a failure. We just know it is. And obviously, super far right-wing fascism is a failure. It never stands up. It's just not tenable. So while liberalism is definitely more attainable and stuff, it's just like we need to stop the likes of Matt Walsh. We need to move leftward. And we are, I think. The liberals in charge are in full denial of this fact, but the country is not. 21% of Americans are illiterate and 54% read less than a 6th grade level. That's how I think we got here. But this is by design, right? They have been defunding schools publicly for years. Like, the right wing has been building towards this for a long, long time. And so we need to adjust our messaging to live in that reality. We can't just make everyone literate. We don't have that kind of power. What we can do is talk to these people. I've talked to illiterate 6th graders before, okay? I've taught them. Those people can still be taught. Those people can still learn things. Those people can still vote in their good interest. You don't need to be literate to vote in your, best interest. You can still be a smart person. But it's like a huge challenge because a lot of the literacy rate coincides with the lack of, not just access to education, but the lack of like information parsing, and we don't teach it, and we need to do a lot of this stuff. We should teach it in high school. We should teach it for kids to be able to discern between AI and stuff, like to be able to do all this stuff. It's important now. And it will be for their generation at least. Anyway, that's the end of the Matt Walsh portion of this stream. And I guess the end of this video. I can't take more Matt Walsh. I can't do it. He's too stupid. He's too nefarious. I don't want to listen to his fake voice anymore.